Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to Coalition League's quarterfinals of the summer split. I'm Random Minion Caster, and today we've got the last of the quarterfinals games. It's going to be the Demacia's division's Prismatic Esports versus Glacial Omen here. And these teams can't be more different between themselves here in the Demacia division. On the blue side for game one, it's going to be Prismatic Esports, and Prismatic, a team that has been stuck near the bottom of the standings. They just only last week of the regular season picked themselves up their first series win here in the summer split. So a team that has been struggling a little bit, but they have seemed to get themselves together for now and in time for the playoffs. And in the top lane for them, it's going to be just Storming. In the jungle, Matzi. Mid laner, Mickey Mouse for the win. As ADC, it's so amusing. And in the support position for game one, they've got themselves an E substitute. It's going to be Jason KB 23. And some interesting things here. Jason KB is actually a player who has been playing a lot of different positions and a lot of different teams here. So he's played in, I think, 4 different teams in this summer split alone. And now he's played all 5 positions: top, jungle, mid, ADC, and support over spring and summer split here. So we'll be substituting for Prismatic, and that will cost him 2 bans here. He is an E-sub, not on their regular roster, and Prismatic will be losing 2 bans for that. And on the red side, it's going to be Glacial Omen. And Glacial Omen, a team that's been sort of near the top of the standings. They've had a bit of an easier split, avoiding 2 of the stronger teams in weeks 1 and weeks 2, because their first game was played in week 3 here. But so far, they have not lost a single series thus far in the regular season, having avoided some of the tougher matches here. So right now, on paper, they're looking like one of the tier 1 teams to beat here. And in the top lane for them, it's going to be Zero Zen RL. In the jungle, Chaotic Obsidian. In the mid lane, Ishan for ADC, twice Jonghyun. And for support, it's going to be Willow Haven here. And we're going to hop right into the picks and bans for Prismatic here. They're banning Vladimir, Irelia, and Galio. And that's going to be it for their bans, because they did lose out 2 bans for E-Sub. Playoffs have a higher penalty for using the E-Subs. It's 2 bans lost for 1 E-Sub, 4 for 2 E-Subs. And for Glacial Omen, they're going with the Graves, the Garen, Olaf, Shen, and Fizz bans for themselves. So a lot of attention's paid to these solo lanes here for the side of Glacial Omen against Prismatic. And I'm not really sure that's necessarily the right call here to focus so much onto these side lanes, because Matzi, well, in the jungle as well, pardon me, the Graves and Olaf is targeted at Matzi, who has been an absolute beast here, oftentimes carrying their early game. But the bot lane here of So Amusing, and previously it was LHE Dark Prince, but now it's Jason KB. It has also been a huge part of Prismatic's composition. And in terms of picks here, it's going to be the Hecarim once again for Matzi, my personal favorite champion to see coming out the jungle. It's been very, very popular in the league, and Matzi going to first pick that one once again for himself. The Alistair Kaisa bot lane, Echo, and Dr. Mundo. And Dr. Mundo in that top lane for Just Storming there. We've not seen a ton of Dr. Mundo, but last week, Just Storming having a great game on that Dr. Mundo against Ornn. On the side of Omen here, they're going with Thresh and Misfortune in their bot lane. Trundle the jungle, Syndra in the mid lane, and it's going to be Wukong in that top lane here. So very, very strong lane picks for the side of Glacial Omen. And I am actually a little bit concerned with the draft here from Glacial Omen. The Thresh MF bot lane has worked extremely well for twice Jonghyun and Willowhaven in the regular season, absolutely dominating with it. But usually it's paired with a little bit more AoE CC coming out of the jungle, out of the top lane as well. They do have the Wukong Cyclone. It did just get nerfed ever so slightly, that ultimate. 0.75 seconds of knockup per Cyclone down to 0.6. It's a very, very minuscule nerf. We'll have to see if it's going to affect twice Jonghyun's ability to get that bullet time off on the entirety of Prismatic. And in the jungle too, Trundle also has been nerfed a bit recently. The attack speed buff has been reduced for the, I believe it's the W on the Trundle. So Glacial Omen playing with slightly nerfed picks here, and they don't have a ton of synergy either. They've got a lot of pick potential, and we'll have to see if that will be enough for Glacial Omen. On the side of Prismatic, their composition much more balanced here. You can see they've got a really, really solid front line with the Alistair, with the Dr. Mundo as well. So should be perfectly fine to set up that front line for So Amusing to sort of keep putting out that damage, and So Amusing on that very mobile Kaisa as well. will be able to peel for himself and let the rest of his team engage freely there. So Glacial Omen gonna have a bit of problems, I think, dealing with this very aggressive front line that can sort of dive into the back, interrupt that ultimate. The onslaught of shadows from Hecarim, a huge component to disrupting that bullet time. And with that, we are gonna load onto the Rift here. And now that we're on here, Glacial Omen, they are very strong lane, so it's going to be up to the side of Prismatic Esports here to try and survive that early laning phase. And again, we've seen a lot in quite a few of the divisions so far, especially the Noxus side. And actually, we've seen it quite a bit in the Demacia side as well, where laning, the sort of lane difference becomes overwhelming, and we see teams not able to even play into the mid game at all. Now, Prismatic, not usually a team that suffers against that, but they are going to be against really, really solid lanes here from the side of Glacial Omen, so we'll have to see how that one plays out here. And in that top lane, the Wukong versus Dr. Mundo matchup here. Mundo excels against tanks, actually, so we'll have to see how it does against Zero Zen's Wukong. He did go the Grasp of the Undying rather than the Conqueror that we've seen coming out of the last few Mundos we've seen. That will give him a bit more sustain here, a bit more burst damage, but less damage in these extended fights, which frankly Wukong doesn't exactly excel at. So we'll have to see how that Conqueror Grasp fight in that top lane goes. The mid lane is going to be highly volatile though, with the Echo, with the Syndra. We've seen this matchup before, and really it just comes down to who can start getting the kills first. Both of them have explosive ultimates and damage bursts as well. In the bot lane though, I think Prismatic won the draft in the bot lane here with that Alistar against the Thresh here. Because on the side of Glacial Omen, Twice Zhongyun and Willowhaven are going to have problems engaging into that bot lane. Alistar, very, very strong counter to these sort of engaged supports. And right away in the bot lane, we're already seeing that happen. That's the play coming out actually, point blank onto Jason. And they're going to get a big chunk of damage onto the Alistar. That's a good start here for the side of Glacial Omen. The only problem is, can they keep it up? Because Alistar does have a bit of heal built into his kit there. Will be able to regenerate over time. So if they don't get him down fast enough, he's just going to be able to heal up. But right now, Twice Zhongyun just punishing away there. They're going to hit level 2 first, and they're going to look for the engage. An early flash from So Amusing to avoid the death sentence. And Glacial Omen right now in control of that bot lane. And as we glance at the top lane, it looks like Just Storming as well getting punished by Zero Zen. And things are looking good here for Glacial Omen in the early game right now. Very, very early level 2 roam from Mickey Mouse will get spotted here by the minions, and he's going in. The flash coming out from Zero Zen, and that's the flashes blown in the top lane here for Glacial Omen very, very early. We could potentially see a gank coming out of Mats here on the Hecarim. And this is going to be the Ignite Smite Hecarim that we're seeing here. Lots of different types of Hecarims we've seen. Very versatile with the flashes, the ignites, the ghost as well. We just finally saw, I believe it was yesterday, in the Noxus division game between DOV Nightfall and oh shoot, I'm blanking on who DOV played yesterday here, but Glacial Inferno, yes, the other Glacial sister team. So yeah, we saw the Ghost finally come out for the Hecarim. It worked pretty well. Didn't see a lot of the Ghost being used though. So we'll have to see where Matsi opts to start throwing his ganks here, because Hecarim does have very strong early ganks. Looks like he's just going to run through the mid lane actually, not even looking for a gank. That will give vision of where he's going, and Chaotic's going to know where he is. Chaotic did get that top lane scuttle, might look to contest with his bot side as well, but it's going to be Willowhaven and Twice Zhongyun going up. Matsi might get pinched here. We see Ishan and Chaotic Obsidian coming down as well. And now the Make It Rain with the slow. Matsi getting stunned here. A lot of damage coming down. Can he get away? No, he can't. The flash from Twice Zhongyun to secure the kill along with Willowhaven's Ignite. And that's going to be first blood going to Twice Zhongyun here. So Amusing Jason having to run away. They were not able to rotate in time. And I mean, that was just an interesting choice from Matsi there to knowing that his lanes were getting shoved in to still go for that one. And unfortunately, he'll pay for that. And now Glacial Omen looking like they're the ones making the moves in the early game. They're the ones coming in here with a plan. Now we see Mickey Mouse again with that roam from that mid lane. He's moving really, really early and quickly here. He's looking for the gank. Twice Zhongyun, no flash available will go down. The ignite ticking down, and that's going to be a kill going to Mickey Mouse here. With those ridiculously early roams on this Echo, I'm loving seeing the way this mid laner is roaming around right now. We don't usually see this much map movement, and he's falling behind in mid lane though, so he does have to be careful. He is down experience and gold, and that's against the Syndra, and when the Syndra hits level 6, the unleashed power can often burst people down from about 70 to 0 here, so Mickey Mouse has to be careful about that one. Will not have his chrono break available when that unleashed power is unlocked. And we do see Chaotic Obsidian as well, taking advantage of the early control that he has down in the bot lane, looking to pick up the first Drake, the Inferno here for his team. He does have to be a little bit careful though. Somehow Matzi up in levels here, looking to try and contest this one. He would win the smite fight. He's going in. Is he going to get it? No, he isn't. Chaotic able to secure that one, but he's going to have to flash out. And now Willowhaven's left behind, being collapsed on by Mickey Mouse and Matzi here. They need a bit more damage, maybe a bit of a stun. The Flay comes out. He's buying himself time. And that's going to be enough because the teleport comes out of Ishan here. And that's going to dissuade Mickey Mouse and Matzi. A valiant attempt here from Matzi to try and steal that. Unfortunately, they don't get that one. And that's going to be Glacial Omen continuing to grow their leads ever so slightly here, looking for those early game advantages that they will need. And so far, actually, despite that early first blood going over the way of Glacial Omen, Prismatic not too phased by that here. In the top lane, Just Storming is struggling. We do see the Burning Agony come across. He's looking for the kill here, but has to be careful. Cyclone comes out, and both ultimates in that top lane used, but the amount of sustain from that sadism from Just Storming here, he might look to go in, and Zero Zen sticking around. He's going to get taken really low, but Just Storming not able to follow up, not willing to dive, and Zero Zen able to get out alive for now. Mid lane as well. Ishan now getting caught out. He's looking to turn around. The Scatter of the Weak will come across. That's the stun landed onto Mickey Mouse here, but will disengage, and that was the teleport used from Ishan earlier that we saw, so will not have it. He will have to watch his health here, because if he does base, he will give Mickey Mouse a huge chance to catch back up in terms of CS. Mickey Mouse aggressively going in and looking to try and apply that damage. Every time he goes in, you can see him just chipping away at Ishan. And he's got great footwork right now, dodging out a lot of those orbs here from the Syndra. Definitely having a good time of it in the mid lane right now. And that's great for the side of Prismatic, because they need a lane here to be winning. In that bot lane, actually, I shouldn't say that, because Solo Music is up CS against Twice Jonghyun here. A little bit surprising considering the strength that Twice Jonghyun has shown on this MF pick in the past, and the fact that they did manage to get the early first blood there. He does have the BF sword as well, compared to just the pickaxe from Soul Music. And the engage coming in from Jason KB. He gets the pulverized hit by combo, and that's going to put a burst of damage here, but Twice Jonghyun unable to fire back. It's the supports trading their health bars right now. And a good double up from Twice Jonghyun. I'm going to land onto Soul Music. That's going to push Soul Music back a little bit. That Soul Music baiting a bit, taunting a little bit with that base in the middle of the lane. We'll now go back out. Now Matzi and Chaotic might meet here. They do spot each other out, and they're going to not fight this one. I'm a little surprised Matzi's not been more aggressive with that Ignite, looking for an early fight against the recently nerfed Trundle here. I actually just want to talk about this pickup here from Zero Zen. He bought himself an Executioner's Calling very, very early, and I'm liking it a lot. You can see it came into play. The flash and the dash coming in. He manages to pick up Just Storming solo in that turret, and Just Storming unfortunately tanking up the tower shot that he really didn't want to hit there. And that's absolutely massive for him. It's a great combo. Now Shan going in. He's going to be able to unleash the power, and where was the chrono break? Mickey Mouse didn't use it. He ends up going down, and that's another 2 kills, solo kills going the way of Glacial Omen in the bot lane. We do see Jason KB picking up 1 though, and that was without Matzi's assistance. Matzi coming in to chase Twice Jonghyun off, and at least Prismatic finds a kill to answer back on the 2 solos, but it will not be enough, as it looks like Herald now will go the way of Glacial Omen. And you kind of expected to see it go this way here. Glacial Omen has been the aggressive team in their games in the Demacia division so far. And we did see Prismatic face off against Glacial Omen back in the regular season. It was Glacial Omen to win that one back then as well. So seeing them struggle a little bit in the early game is pretty normal. And Prismatic did look a lot better in their last week as they began seeming to find themselves a bit of identity. And part of that was this sort of Mundo in that top lane working very well for them, but that was against a tank top lane, and now he's against the carry top laner. It looks like he's struggling a little bit, and now Chaotic Obsidian with that gank from behind, he drops the Herald as well. They're going to get a ton of damage on this turret, but Chaotic ends up drawing the turret aggro early. They don't have enough damage, they just get the one charge of Sadism now ticking up here. He's going to go in and look to try and push them out. Has to be careful. He can't leave the turret range though. And no Executioner's calling coming down means that he's going to get the full benefit of that Sadism here in the top lane. Interesting use of the Herald. It looked like they were planning to get a proper dive off, but the actual execution of that dive looked a little bit messy here. And with Chaotic showing in that top lane, that's going to unlock Matsi instantly to go for that Drake in the bot lane there, picking up the Herald. A good scatter week from Ishan. Stops the engage for now from Mickey Mouse. And despite being down 30 CS in the mid lane, it still looks like it's Mickey Mouse here who's playing the aggressor. And we now do see Jason looking for the flank. He's got himself the Moby boots, but unfortunately Ishan a little too close to the turret. Jason not looking confident to go diving here into that mid lane turret. And Matsi on the Hecarim at 11.5 minutes here, still not able to find himself the first proper gank and kill here of the game. A little surprising, a little bit on the back foot. One of the least proactive ponies we've seen thus far. We'll have to see if that is able to change in the mid game, because part of the benefit of that Hecarim pick is to have the early game strength to look to get your lanes ahead and start throwing your weight around early. He is level 7 and we haven't seen a single ultimate come out, and that first ultimate from Hecarim actually is pretty important as well, because the sooner you use it, the faster you can influence a lane. Even if you can't necessarily find a kill, just getting sufficient lane pressure is enough. On the other hand, we have seen Chaotic Obsidian look for ganks, and now he's once again on the top side, potentially looking for yet another dive here. But the Sadism already available from just storming, so I doubt they'll be able to get this one on a full health Mundo here. We do see Willowhaven looking for a back, but Jason, KB, and Matty are in here. His partner twice, Jonghyun, has abandoned him. The flash from Willowhaven has put him right into the sights of So Amusing, and So Amusing going to be able to pick this one up. Well played from Prismatic, and I think from Glacial Omen. Just unfortunate that I don't think Willowhaven had vision around the corner of that bush. Top lane though, Zerozen going in once more onto Just Storming, and Chaotic running in through the turret. They're going to be able to find the kill this time, because Just Storming was not under his turret, and Glacial Omen answers back. Both of these teams right now so back and forth. Anytime we see a kill on one side, it looks like the opposing team answers immediately, and now we do see the engage coming in from Jason KB. He gets in all the way, the knockback to get him out of turret. And can they find Ishan? Unleash power on to Mickey Mouse. And again, Mickey Mouse going down, but this time he picks Ishan up. It's a 1-for-1 trade in that mid lane here. I think Mickey Mouse getting a little bit too thirsty looking for these kills. He's going down each and every time, and normally it's great that the assassin finds kills. It's their advantage, but against a Syndra here, she's basically almost an assassin herself with the amount of burst she can put out. It's definitely a risky play. And while the mid lane fight was happening as well, top lane turret finally goes down. It is going to be Glacial Omen picking up first break here and extending their lead to a 2,000 gold lead. See Zerozen itemizing very heavily for in lane. He's got the Blade of the Rune King and the Executioners as well. If you thought Dr. Mundo and Just Storming were having a rough time before, it's about to get so much worse here. He's sitting on a lot of armor though, so will help to reduce some of that damage coming up from Zerozen. And if you are the side of Prismatic right now, you are a little bit on the back foot. You can look to skill up a bit into the late game. That is a fairly safe bet for their composition, but they probably don't want to give away too much of the mid game pressure. And if that's the case, the ones they're looking at to make the plays will be Matsi and So Amusing here, their jungler and their ADC, who are the ones who are kind of in a bit of a better situation. Mickey Mouse on the Echo has been struggling a little bit, especially with the use of his chrono breaks. And that top lane for Just Storming, that's just really, that's not a lane you can play through right now. He needs time to skill up, and he's already getting completely shut down. The itemization from Zero Zen has been on point to make sure Just Storming is not going to become that tanky, unkillable Mundo who goes where he pleases right now. And it looks like they are actually going to make this play around the bot side, around So Amusing. We see Just Storming show up, and Chaotic Obsidian here immediately. And it's going to be Willowhaven and Twice Jonghyun moving in first. Just Storming getting shredded down. Will he go down? Yes, he will. And we saw Mickey Mouse go down in the mid lane as well. Now Jason KB, the target in the middle of 3. So Amusing trying to pump out some damage, but it won't be enough. That's a double kill for Chaotic Obsidian. The teleport coming in as well from Zero Zen. From Ishan, pardon me, not Zero Zen. Looking to see if they can find So Amusing as well. They're not going to be able to find anybody, and despite Prismatic being the one to make the first move towards this bot side, towards this dragon, it's going to be Glacial Omen winning this one. And they might potentially look for a deeper dive, but Chaotic might have stepped out a little bit too far. This is the first time we're going to see Matty and Chaotic go at it here, and the damage that comes out is massive. A shutdown from So Amusing. Willowhaven now going aggressively, and the Scatter of the Weak is going to be able to find both Matsy and So Amusing there. Now Matsy running away, trying to survive. Jason KB there to punt Ishan away and keep Matsy safe. They do manage to answer back, and that was a bounty as well. 300 gold bounty going the way of So Amusing from Chaotic Obsidian. So he's able to find himself a bit of gold, but his mana mune still stacking. Not quite at his power spike just yet. They do have to be careful. The Willowhaven kind of low. So is Twice Jonghyun. And we're seeing now Mickey Mouse and Jason showing up here. They are going to look for a kill. A great death sentence to stall for a little while. Play comes across as well, but that's not enough damage. And now Ishan sat in the middle of 3. He's going to try and look for So Amusing. He does get the Scatter of the Weak, and that's So Amusing. It did here. Perhaps should have stayed a little bit further away. They'll be able to turn this one back around. Who's it going to be? It's going to be Matsy taking the shutdown on that pony. He comes running in aggressively, and somehow the Mountain Drake is still up, and now Chaotic Obsidian, the next target. We get the WQ hit but pulverize combo once again from Jason. And I don't think Chaotic Obsidian is going to be able to find his way out of this one. He's still just looking to be able to pick that up. It looks like he did not manage to get the scuttle here. And now Mickey Mouse turning around, punishing Twice Jonghyun for overstepping both the ADCs right now. A bit too arrogant and not respecting the mid laners. Now Chaotic Obsidian trying to run away best he can. That turret going to be able to take him down. There will be no execute, but there is no assist here for Jason KB. Somehow in that mess of an extended fight, it is Prismatic coming out with the win, and they're going to look to pick the Drake up for themselves as well. And with that, they're going to be closing the lead a little bit here. That was starting to snowball a bit out of control. And while all that shenanigans was happening down there, we did see Zero Zen actually pick up the Herald solo on that top side. So even though they do lose the Dragon here, the Mountain Drake to Prismatic, they pick themselves up the Herald for a constellation trade here. And we do see once again Just Storming. Anytime he leaves that turret in that long lane, he has to be careful. The sadism healing, but with that 50% heal reduction from the Executioners, the grievous wounds, it's making it very, very difficult for him to keep in these extended trades. Not to mention the Conquerors as well from Zero Zen. We're starting to see how strong it is in these extended trades here. Matsy coming in. The onslaught of shadows is solid, and Zero Zen looking to run away, but he can't make it out. The Cyclone's not enough, and they finally take Zero Zen down there. That's going to be another bounty going to Matsy. And they're going to end up trading the bot lane turret. So Glacial Omen, despite giving up that kill, continues to cement their gold lead right now as they are focusing on the macro game, grabbing those objectives. Despite the lack of a true tank here on the side of Glacial Omen, they've been doing pretty well. The Subjugate from Chaotic Obsidian has been massive, stealing away the stats from Jason and Just Storming here in a lot of these extended fights. And Willowhaven as well has been tanky enough. The Lantern shielding has been sufficient to try and keep his team alive for now. Now with those two turrets going down on the side especially that bot lane, opening that long lane up. We are seeing the end of the laning phase. It has been an extended one. We are almost at 20 minutes here before we're starting to see the teams group up, but they are going to start grouping up, and it looks like typical to NA, they're going to look for the mid lane here to be the target. And look at that scatter the weak along with that electrocute. It chunked Jason down to 40% already here, and he's going to be low. That's going to force him to go back. There's going to be a hard defense here as the Herald is called. Shelly into that mid lane. Going to easily be able to take down this outer turret here. And that's all the outer turrets down for Prismatic Esports right now. They're going to keep walking Shelly in potentially, but there's no minions. It's going to go down. She doesn't get a second shot off. Instead, the bullet time comes across, and that's just Storming getting ripped to shreds. Mando's supposed to be a tank, but right now he looks more like a figurine of paper mache here as he just gets absolutely obliterated by the combo and the bullet time there. And that's going to make it really rough for Prismatic Esports right now. Zerozen able to split push, does have to teleport, and there's no one really who can answer him right now. And the game right now back to a fairly even state, despite going in and taking that outer turret right now. Glacial Omen's actually been struggling to increase that 2k lead we saw about almost 10 minutes ago here. So Glacial Omen really not having a good time trying to close this game out. And my concern's starting to come through right now as they hit about the 20-minute mark, where their composition is a bit of a mixed bag and they don't have a proper tank here. You're starting to see them struggle to really siege up. They are not the longest ranges either, and so in the next couple of fights, we're going to have to see if they can continue to allow Twitch to get that bullet time off. That bullet time in the mid lane was beautiful. Full duration did shred through just Storming, but it was also because it looked like the side of Prismatic weren't quite ready to engage. We'll have to see this one here. And we have to take a look at the gold distribution as well. A lot of the gold lead right now of Glacial Omen sitting in that top lane. It's about a 2,500 gold lead there. And if you look at the gold, they're only about 2,000 gold up. So almost all of it in that top lane. And if Zerozen is up more than 2,000, I mean, somewhere else, they're down in gold. And in the jungle, you can see they're down about 500. In the mid lane, they're up about 1,000. That means in the bot lane, they're going to be down that 1,000 here. So their points of strength here for Glacial Omen is their solo lanes, and they need to play around that. You've already seen how much damage Ishan can push out. And there's also the Morellonomicon coming out really early right now. So there's a lot of healing cut. It's just taking Just Storming completely out of the game right now. And Chaotic Obsidian with that Warrior's Enchant, Stalker's Blade, along with the Blade of the Ruin King as well. They're built to just shred right through Jason and Just Storming, as well as objectives here. So they can burn down objectives like no tomorrow. But So Musing should be coming online soon. Is stacking up that mana immune best they can. It's almost there. It's almost at the the Mura mana here. And we do see the Lantern taking Chaotic Obsidian back over the wall. Are they going to start this one up here? Just Storming does have teleport. They do see him up there, and everybody else is missing on the map. We take a quick look at the vision. Prismatic gonna have to go into this one a little bit blind. They can see the Dragon Pit, but they can't see the river. On the other side for Glacial Omen, though, they've got wards everywhere. They're now just getting cleared out by the sweepers, and both teams hesitant to pull the trigger here. They want to finish clearing out the vision. And it looks like they might start this one. Mickey Mouse actually going golden really early here. That's a stopwatch, not a Zonia, so will not be available at all. There's no point waiting, and we do see now the engage here. The onslaught of shadows into the back line, and Ishan getting punted out to safety, but Mickey Mouse able to chase. They do find that one, and it's going to be Just Storming getting shredded down once again here. Jason soon to full. That's both tanks down already, somewhat expected, but So Music able to find his counterpart. They've taken twice Jonghyun down. Now Willowhaven sat in the midst of a bunch of damage. He goes down as well, and Prismatic winning up that split fight here, where both junglers just, or pardon me, it wasn't the jungler, it was Zerozen going aggressively into the backline, matched by Matsi, and it looks like it's going to be Hecarim with the better dive into the backline. And while they pick this Drake up, they've sent Soam using to push the mid lane. That mid lane outer turret already very low. They want to pick this one up and even the gold score right now. There we go, ladies and gents. That was the concern for Glacial Omen right now. Twice not able to get the bullet time off in any meaningful way. Cuts a lot of that MF team fight damage as well. Ishan getting focused almost immediately there. Gets obliterated, and there's no damage coming out of that. Both your carries are dead. Zero Zen and Chaotic Obsidian do have the Blade of the Rune Kings, do have the damage builds, but they're so squishy as well, and so that allows the damage carries to shred right through them. Granted, they did take down the tanks, but there was no follow-up damage, and that's why we saw the side of Glacial Omen there losing this one. And that's something that they've got to keep in mind. They're not going to win these immediate engages there. They need to poke down a little bit. Look for those picks here with the Death Sentence, with the Scatter the Weaks, and then engage after they've already brought some of Prismatic's players down a little bit here. And this is now the window of opportunity for Prismatic. They are the stronger team here, despite a bit of that mess in that fight there, where we saw So Amusing get zoned out with along with Mickey Mouse fairly early, and we saw Jason, KB, and Matsi's combination not too great. Ishan being pushed into the enemy team and getting hit, but back to safety here. They still want that, and that kind of tells you, that they should be in the advantage for the next little while here. Now Zero Zen has to be careful. Does get caught out. The flash coming out from Mickey Mouse along the Proto Belt. They are going to dive this one with no fear. Onslaught of Shadows coming out. The Cyclone bites a bit of time, but they're going to keep going. The Lawnmower keeps spinning, and Mickey Mouse now having to chrono break here. Trying to keep himself alive. Doesn't want to go down on this dive again. And that should be the top turret here, going the way of Prismatic to even up the turret score here.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
And now we do see Matsi getting caught out. He walks right into the death bush. No wards whatsoever. And that's going to give his bounty over to Chaotic Obsidian. 600 gold bounty going to his direct opponent here in the jungle. Just a bit of a misstep. But these are the missteps that you can't afford to give up as Prismatic here. There is just so much shred. They can just look for Baron right away. And that's exactly what they're going to do. This Prismatic aware of this? Yeah, they are, because Just Storming able to give them some vision here. And they're going to try and stop this one. But it's going to be a bit of a tall order right now. So Amusing continuing to push that mid lane. And it looks like Mickey Mouse also not in position. Baron already down to half health. Ticking down to 5,000. The Blade of the Ruin Kings are doing their job right now, as well as Twice Jongyeon down to 3,006. Matsi is back up, but he's not going to make it down to the Baron in time. We do see So Amusing putting damage. Zero Zen did. Chaotic did as well. And it's Twice Jongyeon trying to put the damage out. Will be able to find So Amusing with the help of Ishan. But that's only now Willowhaven and Ishan left alive, and Mickey Mouse able to secure the Baron. What a disaster here for Glacial Omen as they try to burn it down quick and end up giving their lives over. And now the Onslaught of Shadow misses, but it doesn't matter. They are able to pick this one up. The Ignite, or sorry, that's not the Ignite, that's just the Grievous Wounds on Jason. Not able to take him down through the Unbreakable Will. And that's ultimately going to be a 1-for-4 with Baron in their back pocket here for Prismatic. And they should be able to get a nice push as they start the Baron play with a mid lane in a turret here. And you could see what Glacial Omen was trying to do. They know they have an almost all damage composition here, with the exception of Willowhaven. They thought with the double Blade of the Ruin King, with the Essence Reaver, i.e. Misfortune, they could look to try and burn the Baron down. Unfortunately, without any tankiness there, they were all so low, and you could see So Amusing just coming in, picking Zero Zen right off the fight almost immediately there. Chaotic soon to follow, and with the Trundle build that he's opted for here, he does have to be careful that he doesn't get burst down. He does have the Spirit Visage built now, so he will have a bit of sustain in these team fights, but no armor means that he's still vulnerable to So Amusing, who now has the Nashor's Tooth and the Runans built on top of the Muramana and the Guinsu's Rage Blade here. So Amusing really far ahead of the curve against Twice Jongyeon right now. Now with themselves firmly in the lead, Prismatic not pushing the turrets. Instead, they're opting to try and get themselves the Mountain Soul here. They want even more tankiness for Just Storming and Jason KB, and they kind of do need it. We've seen Jason and Just Storming get popped quite early. They are doing their job of disrupting, and now Just Storming there, you see him go down almost right away here. Sadism not going to be enough. Bullet time coming across, but it's only catching Matzi and Mickey Mouse right now, and so amusing, diving the backline, picks up 2 here, picks up a 3rd. No, it's actually Mickey Mouse who's picking up all the kills here, and that's a clean, easy ace here. Just Storming is the bait. Mundo goes where Mundo pleases because he's just bait, and it doesn't matter if Mundo dies. And they're going to pick this one up easy, and they're going to look for the push. They could potentially look for the win here. They do still have the Baron buff. Willowhaven, the first, going to spawn for Glacial Omen, but it's going to be another at least 13 seconds here, and that's going to cost them an inhibitor at least. We do see Matzi staying to pick themselves up the soul here, and are they going to keep on pushing? It looks like they will go for at least one Nexus turret here. They've got a very, very small window of time. Willowhaven up now. Twice Jonghyun as well. Ishan soon to follow, as well as Chaotic Obsidian. That's enough burst. They've got themselves a Nexus turret, and they're going to wisely just back off here. They don't want to overstay and give up their advantages. And from such a close game, where Glacial Omen had about a 2,000 gold lead for most of it, we now suddenly see Prismatic with the Baron play here, opening up the lead. They suddenly get themselves a 7,000 gold lead as they crack the inhibitor in that bot lane there. Prismatic gonna go back, spend themselves a ton of gold because they did manage to pick up quite a bit. Matzi in the jungle, despite a very quiet start to the game, is now finding himself 7, 2, and 8. He's sat on about 1,000 gold right now. Could look to go back and buy him, to see what his next item will be here. And for Mickey Mouse, he's trying to rush and get himself the Zonias, already with having the Banshee's Veil here, able to ignore some of that initial damage coming out of Ishan especially. And so amusing, already starting to try and build towards that final item. Looks like it will be the Zonia's Hourglass here for amusing. So they've got quite a bit of AP damage coming out here for the side of Prismatic, but with Matzi and that Triforce and the sustained damage he's got, they've got themselves a decent amount of AD damage for now. And if you are the side of Glacial Omen, you kind of passed your prime, the peak of your play right now, which is kind of that early to mid and game, and now you're in the late game where you've got to struggle. They need to find themselves some picks here, but Jason KB fearlessly coming in from the backline. Ishan is ticking away. Can he get out? No, because the onslaught of shadows from Matzi. Express delivery death here, and now Chaotic Obsidian getting hit by the cleavers will get stopped. Twice Shogun trying to get the bullet time across the wall, but is gonna get interrupted because they could dive, and that's gonna be Chaotic Obsidian and Ishan down right away. They're gonna have to try and defend this 5v3 right now. Jason tanking this turret up, showing that he doesn't care. He's tanky enough. That shield from the Mountain Drake going to be more than enough to tank up that turret shot. 2 turret shots away, and they get the inhibitor turret down in that mid lane. They're looking to get the inhibitor as well. No fear right now here from the side of Prismatic Esports. They get baited by the Wukong clone, and not that it matters. And they're going to look for the end right now. Ishan coming up in about 10 seconds. Chaotic in 7. And Mickey Mouse going to take a lot of damage. Able to chrono break himself to safety. So amusing going in 1v2 here. It doesn't matter. His team's got his back. They've got the Nexus. And that's a 33-minute game going the way of Prismatic. Not what we expected coming into this series here. And just really well played from the side of Prismatic. I think they... I hesitate to say they won this in draft, but they certainly dropped themselves a huge advantage, which they managed to play out really, really well here. Despite Matzi not getting them an early lead with that Hecarim pick, he came back huge in the late to end game here, just engaging so aggressively, and he only died twice considering how aggressively he was. Jason KB as well on the cow, knowing no fear whatsoever. We saw him aggressively, constantly looking for those flank engages from the back as well. Worked really well for his team. He did die twice, but considering how aggressively he played, that's surprising. It is Just Storming who had to suffer here, going 0-6-9 this game on the Dr. Mundo. It worked really well for him last week, but perhaps not the best pick this week here. And he did get counter picked, to be fair, but I think if you're going to blind pick, maybe go a more traditional tank. They are meta for a reason. And for the side of Glacial Omen, I mean, what is there really to say here? I think the solo lanes did just fine. The bot lane twice Zhongyon got a little bit suppressed, but they were the ones dominating in the early game. I think it comes down a bit to the drop. I've said this so many times when it comes to the Demacia division. They need a bit of late game insurance here. While it's all fun and well to stomp the lane and win, if you don't manage to succeed that, then you kind of put yourself in a bit of a hole and you need to climb back up. And I would like to see a bit more tankiness here on the side of Glacial Omen, because if they have no tanks whatsoever, then again, they can't scale. No matter how well you've got skill and carries, you need some sort of front line for them here. And as good as Willowhaven was with those peels and the lanterns, a support tank takes some time to scale up, is a little more broke than the rest of the team, generally speaking. So does have to be careful. And with that, we will hit it here into an intermission break to prepare for game 2. And we'll have to see what Glacial Omen are going to do to sort of bounce back here in game 2.